please. I see recording started. Okay, Pledge of Allegiance. We'll stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. Okay, the minutes, we do not have minutes for last week. We had some delays there, so we're going to table that till our next meeting. Project updates. Mark, anything you want to?
Yep. Well, we'll go with A. We'll go with A first. Security vestibules. We completed the PCRs, and we are compiling the documents that need to be revised and sent back to the state for their blessing on getting us out to bid for the security vestibule. And then with the roof and the AC projects will be kind of lumped in together. I don't know if anybody has anything else on the security vestibules.
We thought we'd get the letter last Friday. We thought we were going to get the letter this week for the vestibules. Did that not happen?
The return, this is Sal Morbido. The return package has been sent. It was sent, I believe, 2 days ago. So it's just a matter of them confirming that we gave them the tweaked documents that they requested. And it's a matter of time. It might be this coming week that they get the letter out. That they're on their own schedule, but it's eminent that the letters are going to come.
Okay.
Does that impact the schedule at all?
I just about to ask the same thing. Yeah.
I don't believe that it does, but Mark can speak to that.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Mark, I can jump in here. No, it does not impact the schedule. The only piece we need to, which is I believe on the agenda we discussed last meeting, is exercising of the alternates, which you folks have seen, and then procurement of the glazing contract or the glazing scope associated with the vestibules. But all that work is being taken place in 2025. So no, but certain decisions need to be made as it relates to the approach on the glazing package and the alternates. So we kind of have to put that behind us at some point very soon. But no impact to the schedule.
Thanks.
No problem. Okay. Mark, do you want me to continue, give an update on the AC projects and roof? If that's okay with you?
Yeah, let me
Go ahead.
Let me jump in first.
Sure.
And then, well, yeah, give the update. I've got well, I'll start off, Lamar, and then I'll throw it to you. GMP for the AC projects and the roof went out yesterday about midday. I know no one has had a real good chance to dive in and go through it all. Just quickly, this was the worksheet that I have up here was sent out on Wednesday. Basically going through what the available funding is between the HVAC and the roof project. And I can
Thank you.
blow it up. Yeah. Should be able to see it better now.
Yep.
Between the HVAC and the roof project, it's basically 36.6. Just off the shelf, Gilbane GMP without the alternates is 33,825, which is a difference of about 2.77 million. If we were to add the alternates in the 2 for Osborne and the 1 for North Stratfield, that would be an additional $343,000, and the difference at that point would be reduced to $2.4 million over
But that's,
the-
Mark, that's not everything, is it? What about, the town of Fairfield's obligations? As far as insurances, contingencies and all that good stuff.
Well, we're just comparing the GMP number, this available funding is what was in the budget for basically the GMP. So the other
But
items we're basically comparing.
The difference is not the 2.7 because you have to add that back in, right? So we're less than 2.7. I'm sure we're within the range, but it would be nice to have that number in this spreadsheet as well.
Well, overall, the total project for all 3 schools is the common for not only Gilbane's number and trade contract, but also the below Gilbane's line, the soft cost, the town cost would be the addition of the 39 million that I'm showing here, plus the roof of 4.4 million. To compare apples to apples with the GMP, I was just taking the building construction cost, which is the trade cost, the Gilbane cost, the insurance, their contingency. Basically, the GMP cost are the red clouded numbers on this document. That's what I was comparing. No. The bid cost or the bid proposals really did not affect the soft cost.
No, I know that, but okay. All right. So continue.
Well, Mark, you had also
And
sent
then-
over the detailed budget sheet. So
Correct.
the presumption would be that detail includes all this, it was referred to as the soft costs, and
Yes.
I haven't had time to validate all this, but I assume that these totals then validate or align with that detail number.
Correct. Any savings would be dropped back down and would drop down to the soft cost. But these soft costs, the fees and expenses, and the FF&E numbers are what is in the budget. What I'm carrying in those budgets that I sent you on Wednesday are the construction costs of 9.8 million, the 15.4, and the 7.6, call it, in there. I had not updated those for the GMP costs. So any savings out of that would be dropping down to the soft costs.
So to restate Rodney's statement or question around are all of the other, this is all an inclusive number, back to your spreadsheet, that reflects an all-inclusive number. That's what you're saying. So that difference at I'm looking at a different version. That 2.4 is a true all-inclusive, including soft cost, town numbers, whatnot.
No. It is savings on this line alone.
Yeah, it doesn't, it's
not
deceiving because it's not all inclusive.
Right. Okay.
Well,
I mean,
it's comparing the building construction costs to the budgeted building construction costs.
Right, but I would agree with Rodney.
Savings.
If I looked at this, this looks like this is what we have, right? So but this doesn't call out. So we need to add a line to this that has those other additional costs called out.
So question, the available funding of 32 million and change, and the 3 million, that's only construction costs, or is that our
Yes.
total funding?
Only Gilbane's costs, correct.
All right. What is the total budget? The total available funding for this entire project. Sorry, the vestibules and roof and AC. Or I'm sorry, not the vestibules, just the AC and the roof. What's the total that we've been allocated for?
Yeah, I would. $43.5 million.
$43.5 million. That's the total cost the town has allocated?
Yes, this is taking into account the 39,104. The 39,104 and the 44228.
Well, that doesn't include the vestibules, and it doesn't
No.
include
That
the
does
pounds.
not include the vestibule.
Nor things like the insurance.
Nope. Insurance is in the fees and expenses.
So the grand total then is the addition of those 3 vestibule lines.
The
The additional
total of
2 million.
the additional 2 million.
So 45-ish is the grand total, not the GMP number, but the grand total from the budget perspective for phase 1.
Correct.
Rod, are you clear, satisfied, or still in doubt at all about any of the numbers?
No, I'm not in doubt. It just nowhere in the documentation we got to date that are we at $45 million. So and I think the 45, I think this spreadsheet is great, but it should be all inclusive. There should be the soft cost included in this, so that we have a clear understanding of where we are in the project. The simple one that you have, and the Excel spreadsheet. But we can move forward.
Mark, do you want me to talk about the construction cost and budget? Maybe you leave that spreadsheet that you had for a quick minute, just to kind of shed more clarity.
Okay.
Thank you. So, as Mark indicated, the construction cost, which is the lion's share of the project, there are obviously 3 buckets. You have the HVAC, the roof, and the vestibules. They each have a construction budget line item. On this spreadsheet that you see in front of you, it just represents the HVAC on the roof, which totals up to about 36.6, which is based on our CD estimate, 36 million.6. We've assembled the GMP without the alternates that shows there. We're at 33,825. That's what we submitted, and that's, I think, what Mark distributed to the team and the building committee. So we are $2.7 million to the good on the construction cost only for the roof and the HVAC.
Right.
So that's actually fantastic, phenomenal position to be in. Now, if we distributed also the alternates to you folks about a week or so ago, and the grand total of all the alternates, including the vestibules, except for the glazing part, because we didn't bid that piece, is about $1 million. So if the committee has a desire to move forward with the alternates, takes that $2.7 million to the good and reduces it by $1 million. So again, you're still ahead by $1.7 million. The glazing part of the vestibules, construction cost only, based on our estimate, is worth about just under $1 million. Okay, so if we go out to bid, or if that glazing scope gets procured, and let's say it stays true to that $1 million, you're still $700,000 to the good on the construction cost. And we haven't even touched the vestibule budget altogether. So everything, based on things are playing out, it looks like we can afford the entire, all three components, HVAC, roof, and vestibule, within the HVAC and roof budget from a construction standpoint. So there's plenty of cushion left. And the soft cost obviously is below the line. And those are the designers and obviously contingency and whatnot. So that could be padding your contingency, if you will. So we are in a very phenomenal position right now with these bids on these projects. And so that kind of puts it in a very high level summary as to where we are from a construction standpoint or construction budget. The overall budget obviously is $45 million. So like I said, it's a really phenomenal position to be in and have a lot of cushion, if you will, going forward. So that's kind of, I just want to, I know we distributed the GMP to you folks, and maybe I can share my screen and kind of walk you through the GMP summary page, Rodney and Jeff, if you like.
Sure, that'd be great. Thank you.
Summary page would
problem.
be great. I wouldn't
Yeah.
go through the entire thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me know when you see my screen, please.
I do.
So, yeah,
Okay. Okay. Is it? Let me just make sure that if you want me to, so I'm going to zoom in here and let me know if you could see it. Okay, I can zoom even further. Let me know, please, if that's too small.
It's small.
Okay. So let me kind of zoom in on this corner and kind of slide around. Is this okay?
That I can read.
I have it up on my section.
Oh, okay, good. Excellent. So I'm on page 4, Rodney. Okay.
Yep.
Which is really the summary of the GMP, we call Exhibit A. So as you can see, these are the trade cost packages, if you will, that we bid out and assembled. Obviously, we broke the project or the GMP into what we call 4 cost summaries, because there's obviously the HVAC for each school. That's for billing purposes because they all have their own state project number, and obviously there's a roof as well. So those are the 4 different categories that we categorize this GMP. And these are the bids we received, and each bidder gave us a breakout for each school as it relates to their associated scope of work. And these are the bidders that are going to be engaged on the project. Once the GMP is approved, they'll issue subcontract agreements. Okay, so that's Oscars, QSR, Young Developers, Acoustics, Central Con Acoustics, Blackwater for fire protection. Ferguson is doing both electrical, plumbing, and HVAC, and Dowling Construction is doing the site work piece. Any question on that? So we call that our trade cost, which is really the 28 million. Right here, assembling all the trade values inclusive of our site services. Below the line, just to kind of give you a quick rundown of what that is, obviously the building permit fees, which is this line right here, is by the town. The builder's risk currently by the town, which is something I've been discussing with Mark at extensive conversations in the past couple of days, and maybe we can bring that up under new business maybe. State education fees by the town. Our construction contingency, this $1 million, is based on contract, which is 3%. Our pre-construction cost that we've assembled, obviously contractual, as well as the vestibule pre-con, which we have a tab that we gave you, our Exhibit J, that explains that number. Our general conditions also Exhibit K, which were again included in that, and just shows our staffing breakout of all the staff we're going to have and their hours. Field office support is Exhibit L, that represents all of our field office operations and expenses, computers, cell phones, things of that nature, that, you know, printer, copier, stuff that we need in order to manage the project. PMP bond, obviously that's our bond. It's statutorily required. Our insurance, which is what we quoted per contract, both those values are based on contract percentages. And obviously our fee, which is also contractual, based on that and the way it's cut. So that's totals up to 38 million, $33.8 million. And the way we broke it out, you can see right here by project number. So ultimately, we'll end up giving the town, once the GMP is approved, we'll develop 4 different requisitions that represents Woods will represent 14 million, and North Stratfield, Osborne, I'm sorry, will represent 8 million, about $9 million for North Stratfield, and then about $1.8 million for the roof project as a separate requisitions. It's kind of, that's the summary of that, our GMP. This is actually the summary page, if you will, that represents, and there's obviously all the exhibits that supports this document too. I don't know if I'll be happy to go through any, I know you just got it, happy to go through any questions you might have preliminary, or I can stop here.
No, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Thank you. Yep. So timeline wise, as you are familiar with this, we were gearing up for at the time there was a Board of Selectmen's approval. Agenda was going to go out next Thursday for the April 1st meeting, but I'll let Mark comment on that. We do have to have this executed GMP by 4/1 in order to release the trades. We've already mapped out a plan for April break with Sal and his group and the custodians to kind of, that's going to be our plan of attack. So we're kind of, everything is stacking up, lining up very well. We just need to kind of get past this stage of the GMP itself so we can release the trade. So all the draft contracts have been drafted, ready to go. And we're excited to get going. So I'll stop here, Mark or building committee, if they have any questions, happy to answer anything. Okay.
Yeah, that was my only question, April 1st. The only thing you need on April 1st is the Board of Selectmen to approve it.
I believe I'll let Mark comment on that.
Yeah, I spoke with Adam, who's on the call also, and confirmed with him that the how the resolution was written, the Board of Selectmen do not need to approve the GMP, so it'll be done within the committee.
The Board of Selectmen do not need to approve it.
No.
No.
Yeah, the purchasing authority statement has, we have the authority as the board.
So,
Yeah, if I could just chime in, I'm just trying to pull up that language again real quick, but you know, Jeff, you replied, so I'm trying to find the most recent email. Okay.
I have it
So-
here, Adam, too, but yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, in the original authorization that the Board of Selectmen voted on, you know, a few months ago, it sort of included all of the different phases, and there's language about, you know, we establish the authority to enter into the agreement based on the set percent, you know, the 2.1% fee that Gilbane will get, and then, you know, that it will convert to a lump sum upon mutual agreement of a GMP. So my reading of that was that it doesn't need to go back. My suggestion was that, you know, someone from the committee or Gilbane or someone should be available at a, near future Board of Selectmen meeting just to give an update.
Yeah.
But I don't believe it needs to get voted on.
Amar, when are we scheduled to be on site? I know the project's going to start April 1st, but when is the schedule? And I apologize, I didn't get through the schedule, but
No problem. I can walk you through that very easily. So the steps are, once we get approval from the town, but the approval also involves the town issuing a contract amendment to us. So legal has to issue the amendment to the contract, which represents the GMP. That's going to take probably a day or two to get it developed. It's fairly simple. It's an AIA. We've done that on several projects with the town in the past, but it has to get executed by both parties, obviously. That's about a couple of day exercise. We issue trade agreements to the trades, which takes place that week of the 1st, April 1st, and trades will mobilize literally that Monday, because the nice thing about these projects, there's not much of a setup for us. We already have a space within the buildings. We don't need to mobilize trailers. The trades are going to get going. We need to get them their insurances and their executed agreements. So just looking at a calendar, and we can look at the schedule, kind of mirrors that. Is really the week of the 1st is when we plan on getting all the trades on board. With the game plan is that Monday, the 8th, we'll have presence of some trades, potentially the demo contractor, because the week of the 15th is our massive plan of attack on all 3 schools, because that's April break for the schools. So we really have very small window. And again, this is by no means putting any pressure on anybody. I'm just trying to explain the stages and the steps, is that we need to hustle up as far as issuing trade agreements, make sure the trades sign the contract, give us the insurances, all that stuff, which happens fairly quickly, and then get them mobilized and geared up. So we need that week of the 8th to be fully set up, ready to go, because the 15th is our golden opportunity. Okay, the week of the 15th, which is the April break.
So if the committee was feeling so inclined to approve the GMP at this meeting,
Yep,
you would be that much further ahead.
absolutely, absolutely. Yes.
And I'm not
That's,
saying that we're going to, or if it's even
No.
brought up. I mean, that's up to the chairman.
Rodney, I feel like you're reading my notes.
Yeah, by no means, I want to put any pressure. That's not mine. I'm just trying to explain the steps. And yes, Rodney, the sooner the better. It gives us a little bit more breathing room so we can mobilize the trades. Because the
Certainly,
critical
that's
piece of it is, I apologize, not only releasing the demo guy, but we have some long lead, like the switchgear, which I believe it's an item to discuss later on in this meeting. We have some equipment that we need to release. The sooner the better. And that's another component that's critical to these projects.
Right. Okay.
So Rodney, my question that I wrote down was to ask you how long you needed to be comfortable with the GMP. I wasn't sure if you were able to review it before this morning or not.
Yeah, I did. I went through it. I didn't read all the exclusions and whatnot. I didn't get through those schedule. But as far as the costing and whatnot, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable if so inclined to make a motion on it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I was able to look through the numbers and the summary and stuff. I did not read all 68 pages yet of the document, but or whatever it was. But yeah, I would agree that the alternative to that is we have a special meeting on Friday Friday next, because we do not have a meeting scheduled for next Friday. That's an exclusion. It's a Good Friday.
With your permission, I'll make a motion to approve Gilbane's GMP. Where is it? Sorry, give me a second. GMP dated 3/21/2024 for the Fairfield School HVAC upgrades and related work.
Been Mark Schweitzer, can we make that contingent upon the acceptance of the clarifications, limitations and clarifications in the GMP, or as edited as negotiated? Because if we haven't run through them, Gilbane,
You're talking about the alternatives?
no, not the alternates, the clarifications of the GMP. There's about 3 to 4 pages of clarifications in there that I have not been able to get through. It's in the past, it hasn't been a big
Breaking
deal.
up, Mark.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
the-
That's totally fine, Rodney.
All right.
I'm comfortable with
I'll
that.
I'll amend the motion with qualifications.
Yep.
With a qualification to review and, what's the word?
Approve it next, approve it.
Oh,
date
oh,
certain.
Review and approve, clarifications.
Rod, if I apologize for jumping in, the only thing is obviously these are all complementary within the GMP. So as long as we put a timeline on that, because we want to package it up as the GMP, because if there's any revisions, the date of the GMP is going to change, even if it's the qualifications. So if we can put a timeline on the quals being completed, the review and mutual acceptance of the qualifications by a certain date early next week. What do you think, Mark? We need a couple of days to get hammered through it. We've seen it multiple times, you and I.
Yeah.
So if we can,
it's the same one. It's the same one
we've done
we've seen in the past, right?
exactly. So if we can put call it the 26th, because this GMP is going to get revised if there's anything revisions made to it. So if we can put, say, with the qualifications, the assumptions and qualifications get reconciled no later than close of business on the 26th. So that way we could, the attorneys, when they draft the amendments, they're going to grab the latest and greatest, which I'd like to get it to them by the end of day, the 26th, so they can draft the amendment and release us. So I don't know if that's, my apologies for jumping in, but just wanted to make sure that
Yeah,
this.
I'm trying to think of how we phrase that to allow.
Yeah.
What would the process be if we didn't, if we to review them? So I guess the worst case is there's something in those requirements that's disagreed upon that has a cost impact.
There's really not going to be any cost implications. What you can do, if you don't mind me jumping in again, is you could make the motion and indicate in the motion that Colliers and Gilbane to reconcile the assumptions and clarifications by the end of day the 26th. Basically, leave it to Mark and I to kind of sit down and hammer it out, and then we can just report to you. It's really, you've already approved it, or you will be approving it, just contingent on Colliers and Gilbane reconciling the assumptions and clarifications by the end of day the 26th. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I can't hear you, Rodney, sorry.
I'm sorry, that's the one thing I didn't get through.
Okay.
So Mark, you don't believe that there's any financial impact to those items?
No. Mark, I don't believe so. It's just a matter of, those are qualifications to the GMP. They're more text type qualifications that we need to kind of hammer out certain things, but nothing that's going to change the dollar amount. I don't believe, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
Yeah, you know what?
Typically, it's just what's included in the GMP versus what's not included.
Yeah.
And how the basis of their GMP.
Right.
So, Rodney, if you want to restate the proposal to maybe it's the monies now and the acceptance of the document in balance at date future.
All right, let me try this again. With your permission, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to
We can't.
accept.
You're fading, Rodney. Sorry, we can't
Yeah,
hear you.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to accept the cost for the Fairfield School HVAC upgrades related to the GMP dated 3/21/2024 with contingent upon an agreement reached between Colliers and Gilbane on Exhibit C qualifications, assumptions, exclusions. The cost of the project is $33,825,576.
Perfect.
And I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
So you guys can hammer it out.
Yep, no problem.
And I'll review it this weekend. If I have any comments, I'll shoot them over to you guys.
Absolutely. And
Agreed.
Rodney, if you need to have a meeting with the three of us, we can go through it together. We're definitely available to do that to make it easy on everybody. We want to, so it's up to you, whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Boy, that was painful.
Thank you, by the way. Much appreciated. Looking forward to it. Yeah, so the next pieces would be the alternates, which you're gonna hit that obviously on the next piece.
Okay, hold on, let's see.
Sorry.
There was the, just before we move on to that, we had the material testing RFPs. Those went out to some bidders. It's reported last
Yep.
week.
Yes. The due date is the 28th of March. So we'll be getting them next Thursday.
Okay.
Okay, so those won't be acted on until the 5th of April.
Correct. And as we went through with the schools this week, the April break is essentially demo and measurements and field measurements. So we won't be needing the testing and balance, the materials testing guy yet.
Okay. So there's no impact to schedule with a review and voting on the
Correct.
RFPs in early April. Okay. We talked about the start date for the construction. So on the AC side, any updates beyond the GMP?
No, that was the GMP. The schedule is all AC and roof.
Nothing else there. Okay. Mark, point of clarification.
sir.
Your cover letter showed the letter was going to the Board of Selectmen, but that has not been distributed to them yet. Is that correct?
No, we have not.
Okay.
No, we have not sent anything to the Board of Selectmen. We just sent it to Mark, the entire GMP. So we haven't made any, that's typically internal to the town.
Okay. I just wanted to confirm if that had gone out to them or not, since that was the cover letter. Okay.
Nope.
Okay. All right. So item 4 is project updates for phase 2 through 5. Anything on that front, Mark?
Nope, no updates. Working on the proposals for the Colliers, and now that the GMP has been submitted, we'll get Gilbane's proposal for phase 2 through 5.
Which I am working on. I should have that to you, Mark, sometime next week. It's almost there. Okay.
And
Excellent.
then if you allow me the approvals, we do not have any proposals and we do not have any invoices.
Okay. Very good. So item 6, new business. Review and potential approval of bid alternates.
Yes.
All right, so we have
As we were, well,
7. 6 total?
Yes.
We have seven alternates total. One of them, alternate 7, I would not recommend taking. It is the reduction going from a 25-year roof warranty to a 20-year roof warranty for less than $4,000 is not worth it to anybody to take it.
And the schools or the school board is kind of going in that direction at 25 years. They don't want to accept it. So
Correct.
Right.
Correct. They would prefer the 25.
I mean, for $4,000.
Another level of security for them.
Let's take up the HVAC roof alternates first. That's 1, 2, and 6, I believe, right?
Correct.
Jeff, personally, I mean, given the budgets and whatnot currently, I don't have an issue with approving those.
I did not either. I was in agreement on them. Do you want to
Well,
make
then
a
I'll make
motion?
I'll make a motion to accept alternates 1, 2, and 6 for the HVAC roof project, and it's in the amount of $343,537.
I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passage unanimously. So 1, 2, and 6. So down to 3, 4, and 5 on the vestibules without glass.
Correct. The total of the 3, 4, and 5 is $730,647, and it is inclusive of the packages in the GMP without the glass package. So these alternates are all the trades that we have. Well, we'll have under contract through the GMP.
All right, what were 3, 4, and 5? Quick, that was the vestibule work at OHS is 3.
Yep. North Stratfield is 4.
4. And 5 is Woods.
So, if you're entertaining a motion, I'll make a motion for acceptance of alternates 3, 4, and 5 without the glass package in the amount of $730,647.
Okay, I'll second the motion. Any discussion? Amar, yes, sir.
Yes, so this is kind of the dividing line where if these get accepted, that's going to be incorporated into our GMP, similar to number 1, 2, and 6, which now those trades are going to be working for us contractually delivering the vestibule. So kind of we need to hammer out, I don't know, Mark and Sal, and is hammer out how we're going to assign that to those trades if the glass package is going to be procured directly through state contracts, and then we have to reassign those subs. So I kind of are we going to bid the glass package separately and move on in that direction? Because I incorporate them now, but then I have to back them all out if they're going to be assigned to the glazing contractor. So I'm kind of need some guidance on that one a little bit. I'm just thinking. I'm thinking. Go ahead.
Say again, Mark.
Sorry about that. The plan is to go to a state contractor either through and procure it that way.
For the glass.
But we are for the glass, correct.
Okay.
We are waiting for the PCR letters to come back so we can do that.
Okay, so my recommendation up to you, the building committee, that is, to yes, accept them, we'll incorporate them into our GMP. Obviously, that will be in addition to the value you just approved a few minutes ago to the GMP. When we produce the final GMP, it's going to include all these alternates that you accepted. And Mark, when the time comes, when you get the glazing contractor on board, we can always back him out of our contract as a deduct change order. Okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. So I'm good.
Amar, just
Yes, sir.
clarification. Your 730,647 does not include glazing, correct?
Does not include glazing. That's correct. That's about just under $1 million worth. Yes.
But we're not approving the glass package right now.
Yeah, because we didn't bid it. It's not PCR approved yet. So it's that's the last piece of these projects left to be procured.
But you're not going to add the glass into your GMP now.
No, I'm not. If it's going to go to state contracts, that's going to be the glazing contract is going to work directly for the town.
So there would be nothing to back out if we did go to state contract.
Yes, it just becomes a reimbursement potential discussion because technically that's part of that scope, part of the vestibule package scope. It's a little complicated conversation.
Yeah, it's a contractual issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. Just clarification.
Yeah, no problem. So you're good to go on this.
Okay, but your comment though is that you need to reissue your GMP if these alternatives are accepted.
Yes, and that's common practice, is that once, this is why it's good to have these conversations, these meetings, that we're finalizing the final GMP. So we gave you without the alternates, now you wish to include the alternates. When Mark and I finalize the GMP, once we settle out on the qualifications and assumptions, Exhibit C, I'll produce a final version of the GMP that's going to incorporate the alternates and everything else. So it'll be a final package. And that's what goes to the law department. Your motion of approval, you approved it in 2 stages. You approved the base GMP and you are just approving the alternates. I will merge the 2 together for early next week. There's no need for another motion or another approval, if you will.
That's correct.
Yeah, I guess we approved the dollar amounts, not the document as a whole. I'm just thinking from your timeline, because you need to submit that to legal review.
Yeah, that's not an issue. By Tuesday, that's not a problem. Mark him and I are gonna work Saturday and Sunday. We're hammering out the quals.
I was just processing in my mind if we had to review any documents and the final numbers to approve. Well, I guess we could do it. We're doing it through the alternatives with the understanding that those are the numbers that would be added to the GMP.
Exactly.
As shown in
Approve the
this.
part.
Yes, that's correct. You are absolutely
So
100% correct.
the total alternate numbers would reflect a GMP on the vestibles.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Okay. Any other discussion on the motion? Rodney, you're good?
Nope.
No.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay. Item B is on review and potential approval of early release for switchgear submissions.
Mark, you want me to go ahead?
Yep, go ahead.
So this is not, we were not, obviously, thank you very much for expediting the approval of the GMP. I had asked Mark to put that on the agenda. I had spoken to Ferguson. Obviously, this is one of our critical pieces. Switchgear is current market condition and timeline is very volatile. So we wanted to get a jump start on the submittal and the product data. This is just for informational purposes. There's no action needed on the building committee. We're just making you aware that we have talked to Ferguson. I spoke to them early this week and I told them to get going on the submittal on the switchgear, just to make sure we get a jump start on it. So I'm just including you for conversation in advance of the GMP approval. Just want to get things rolling. So that's nothing but just for informational purposes, no action required by the building committee.
So the only impact I'm seeing is that on the budget sheet, Mark, this would be moved into the allocated fund column.
Yes, with the GMP, yes, with the GMP.
With the switchgear number, since that's being, from a budget
Correct.
perspective, that's being allocated.
Correct.
Okay. Rod, any questions or comments on that?
No. I know the difficulties very well.
Yeah. Okay. Item C was the potential approval for moving services.
Yes.
Do you want to elaborate, Mark?
Yep, this is mine. We're going to recommend approving WB Myers for off a state contract for moving services. They've basically the off-state contract that their services have been bid. They are they've been in town for the last 10 years. The FPS would highly recommend them. I would highly recommend using WB Myers. They're a known entity and they are very attentive to our needs, and they can get the job done.
What's their cost?
It is the unit price cost.
Unit price. What's the unit price?
It's based on it's man hours, and they have a unit rate for the labor, and they have unit rates for legal totes and C-bins, all the materials that they use. And it's comparable to Syracuse, so that is another bidder on the state contract list.
What is the budget amount for that line item?
We are carrying $75,000 on all three projects.
So there's no estimate per se. We have $25,000 per school, if you will, allocated.
No, it is 75 per school.
Per school, rather. Okay, and then
And it's based on past experience with Mill Hill and Holland Hill, where what the budget is based on those schools and what it took to move an elementary school through phase construction.
the Myers hasn't looked at that perspective yet. So there's no, the proposal is there's no bid process.
There is no proposal. Well,
no.
Specific to the schools, no, there has been no bid process. Up to basically last week, if we were to go out to bid 3 weeks ago, we would have had them doing the nightly moves, or the nightly moves for the demo contractor and move back in. We have worked it out with Fairfield Public Schools that the custodians will be doing the nightly moves in and out, just so, because it's easier that way for them. It's just 2 classrooms at a time versus trying to getting Myers there for basically 4 hours of work, but you're paying them for 8 because they would have to be there at the beginning and there at the end. So this would be essentially for the moving supplies for the custodians, and then we'll have a summer move out and a summer move in. And if it's no real, it's a state contract, but it's not, we're not tied to them. We're just tied to them on what we use them for. If we get into if the custodians can do it during the summertime, it's just the materials that they supply at that point.
Mhm. Yeah, I guess my question was more, not so much around the selection of the vendor, more around the cost containment perspective of it. I guess that's an unknown at this point, other than the
It is
estimate.
an unknown at this point. Correct.
But we have a budget
except for
amount for
except for the budget. Yeah, we
Right.
have a budget except for the budget.
Yeah.
And that that budget is based on past history, but the nightly move scared me. That I
Where are they
that I
gonna
would not
store
have
this
enough
stuff?
money.
Where are they going to store this material? All the furniture and
Over April break, in the elementary schools, they're doing essentially 10 classrooms in each elementary school. And how they have it arranged is the custodians are going to get out in front of them. They're going to store it in the hallways, or in the APRs, and then move it back when they're done. If we do the one giant move in the summertime, we will look to get into the APRs or the gymnasiums to store the materials.
Okay.
I mean, I've even used other classrooms to flip them.
Okay, so the summary of that would be anywhere they can find open space within the building's footprint is the
Correct.
is the goal.
Correct. While working with the custodians, because especially during the summertime, the custodians have their cleaning schedule also. So
Right.
it's a dance with them also.
Okay.
Well-
I guess I use this. Oh, go ahead, Ron.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
I'm just going to ask there was last week we talked about there's a principal meeting that was going to occur this week. I wasn't sure how did that occur? How did that go?
We had 2 of them yesterday, 1 on Tuesday. They all went well. Basically giving them an update of Gilbane's schedule and what they're going to be doing. Basically a 2-week look ahead and 3-week look ahead with the April break coming up. Kind of the logistics of where they're setting up, what they need done prior to Gilbane coming on site, and then what rooms they're actually going to be doing over April break. And for Fairfield Woods, because phase 1 is large in Fairfield Woods, what they're going to be doing the week after April break to give the teachers the most heads up that we can.
Okay. Do you have a follow
We'll
up?
be having. Oh yeah, we're going to be having probably not next week, but the following week we'll be starting weekly OAC meetings, owner, architect, constructor meetings with the principals. With all 3, owner, architect, and constructor. And okay. part of those meetings are coordination with the schools and the 2 to 3 week look ahead of where they're going to be and what they need to, and the coordination of schedules.
Okay. So it's not clear to me that we need to vote, but I guess we could do a motion to approve Myers as the moving company.
Well, I would preference that with if the city or the town is on board for sole sourcing Myers. So it'd be up to Adam.
I'm not sure if I missed something, but I don't think it's sole sourcing if we're using them off state contract.
It's okay. So it's not classified as sole sourcing.
Yeah, because the town is a party to the already existing state contract, so, you know, it's fine, if that's who we want to go with. There's no procurement concern.
And I don't have any
Mr.
issue.
Chair, Mr. Chairman, I can ask a
Yes,
quick
Jason,
question.
thank you.
Just real quick, based on our past experience with that movers, I want to make sure there's no hidden costs that pop up later, especially when they start packing up with the boxes, because I know Holland Hill, we spend a obnoxious amount of money on those cardboard boxes, only to be found out they were used once and thrown out and then not reused. So, Mark, we have enough boxes and all these projects saved up somewhere that we don't need to go obnoxious into extra charges with those?
Correct. And the plan that we discussed is with the phases, they're going to be reused. They're going to be reusing the boxes as we work their way around the school.
Okay, I apologize if I missed that, but I just know it
No,
was,
Jason, that's a good point, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Who's going to be monitoring Myers?
I will be. And they will be, as we use them, they'll be providing their detailed invoices with what they've used and what they haven't, their man hour, it's a T&M invoice, so we will be monitoring them that way.
and correct me if I'm wrong, they don't have issues if we use non-Meyer boxes, right? I thought at one point we had issues at Holland Hill because the boxes didn't say Myers on them. Is that, do I remember that correctly?
They have to be sturdy boxes, but they will move other boxes.
Okay. Thank you.
And we have location to store said boxes between moves?
Yes, with FPS stores. I believe it's the basement of Ward High School.
Okay.
All right, do we need to approve this, or?
Yeah, I guess it's not totally clear to me if we need a motion to approve the use of Myers, but I guess there's no harm in doing so for formality.
All right, I'll make the motion to approve Myers Moving Company with the stipulation that they are monitored by Colliers for cost and performance.
I'll second the motion. Any discussion? Anyone from the public, as it were? Very good. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, that passes unanimously. So with the vote of the GMP, we do not need a special meeting next week. So I will take the moment to wish everyone a happy long weekend. I'm just looking at my notes, see if there's anything else under new business I wanted to bring up. I don't see anything. Ryan, anything else on your side that you wanted to add to new business today?
Good.
Very good. Mark, anything else from you?
Nope, I am good. Thank you.
Okay, so I apologize for a little bit of a longer meeting, but I guess that's what we get when we compress 2 weeks into one, so. All right, thank you, everyone. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
I will make that motion to adjourn.
I will second that motion.